Hey guys, and welcome to another Vlogmas video. Today I'm going to be showing you everything that I ate for the day. So we're starting off with breakfast, and this is just a little throw together breakfast hash kind of deal, just all kinds of random things in here. So I started off by chopping up a little red potato and cubed that up and threw it in the air fryer for a few minutes to kind of get it cooked a little bit. I'm going to be using the air fryer as well as a pan on the stove because I'm impatient and the air fryer just cooks things a little bit quicker. I also had some random tofu in the fridge, so I chopped that up and added in a little bit of tofurkey Italian sausage, kind of chopped and then halved, and threw that in the pan with the potatoes. Then I cooked my frozen cauliflower and broccoli back in the air fryer, added that back to the pan, and seasoned everything with just some salt and pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and a teensy bit of cayenne. That's kind of like my go-to random seasoning for stuff. And I did add in a few tablespoons of just a random marinara sauce that I had in the fridge. I just wanted a little bit of a tomato-y kind of flavor to it. If I had just like regular tomato paste or something, I would have added that. Tomato sauce or whatever, I would have added that. But I just so happened to have an open jar of marinara, so that's what I decided to use. And that was it. I added a little bit of Violife vegan Parmesan on top, just shredded on top when I had that, and then I also had leftovers for the following day to eat for breakfast as well, which is always nice. For lunch, I'm making up some corn dogs for me and the boys, so I like to use the Light Life brand of Smart Dogs for our hot dogs for this recipe. And I do like to throw them in some all-purpose flour and just kind of coat them up in that before I throw them into the batter itself. I will leave a link down below to my blog post for this recipe so you can see how I make the batter itself. It's just something that I kind of threw together based on other recipes that I had seen for a corn dog batter, and I really like the way that it turns out with this particular recipe, so I'll have a link down below for you guys. Just make sure that you coat all the little bits. I do like to cut the hot dogs because it kind of makes it fun for the boys. They like to have these more like bite-sized pieces, and I've grown accustomed to it as well. I just think they're cute instead of doing a whole big hot dog, so we just cut them up into thirds for me and the boys. And then I do use a chopstick and a fork for this little dipping system. Just make sure they're all totally coated and throw them into the hot oil. Another thing I will mention is that you don't want your oil to be too hot, or else the breading tries to separate from the hot dog itself. At least that's what I have noticed. If I keep my heat level at like a 4 out of 10 instead of a 5 out of 10, the breading stays nice and close to the hot dog and makes it nice and rounded and super fluffy and adorable, instead of trying to like fall apart when I have it on a hotter heat like 5 out of 10. So yeah, then I just use a little slotted spoon to scoop them out of the oil when they're ready. It really doesn't take long at all to get them totally done. And I just serve them with ketchup and mustard, and that's our lunch for the day. For dinner, I'm putting together this soup that is not my recipe. I will leave you a link down below to where you can find the recipe. A relative of mine actually made it for a family gathering one year, and then she sent me this link on Pinterest to where I could actually find the recipe. So it starts off with some onions in some olive oil, just kind of roasting that up for a little bit, frying that up for a little bit, and then I add in some kale, quite a bit of kale, several handfuls of kale, and then some frozen cauliflower. You can see I am originally like taking handfuls of the cauliflower and throwing it in there, and then I realized I'm just gonna throw the whole bag, so I throw the whole bag of cauliflower in there. I had also been cooking some beans for this particular recipe earlier in the day. I like to use large lima beans here, but I think the recipe calls for something else. It also takes like about half a can of corn or so, throw that in there. I did have some leftover vegetable broth like in an actual carton, and I used that, and then I filled up the rest with water and added my usual Better Than Bouillon vegetable base paste stuff. That's usually what I would use for my vegetable broth, but just because I had a carton of vegetable broth on hand, I used that as well today. Then you just want to let it simmer up, cover it, let it simmer for maybe 20 minutes or something, and then I take out a few scoops of the soup and blend it up in the blender and throw it back into the soup. It just helps really mingle all of the different flavors, and it also gives it more of like a greenish kind of color, which is kind of fun. And this is something that I was eating by myself. The boys did not eat this. They would not eat so many different vegetables. Even my husband is so picky, he would not have eaten any of the things in here except like the corn and the beans. He hates broccoli and cauliflower and kale. All of those vegetables freak him out. So he hates the smell of even this cooking. So yeah, this soup was just for me. I did serve it with a piece of sourdough bread, just kind of toasted up with some vegan butter on it, and that was my dinner, and it was super delicious. I love this soup so much. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, I will leave links down below to any of the recipes or any other things you guys want to know about the food here in today's video. Let me know if you did like this and what other kind of videos you want to see here on this channel, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!